The Galactic Empire's approach. The Galactic Empire was a colossal force, stretching across countless star systems. Their empire was known for its power and reach, with a reputation that made even the bravest of beings shiver. They had conquered many worlds and demanded submission from those they encountered. Their next target was Earth. In a distant part of the galaxy, on a spaceship as large as a planet, the Emperor of the Galactic Empire studied a holographic map. His face was stern, framed by a dark, sharp uniform and a crown of authority. The map showed a small blue planet orbiting a star. The Emperor's eyes gleamed with cold calculation. Earth, he decided, would be the next conquest. The Empire's scouts had recently returned from their mission to Earth. They reported the planet was rich in resources, with vast amounts of minerals and untapped energy. But what intrigued the Emperor most was the planet's strategic position in the galaxy. It could serve as a powerful base of operations. The scouts' report was detailed. They described Earth's diverse environments, from its oceans to its mountains. They spoke of the planet's people, humans, who were primitive compared to the Empire's advanced technology. They noted that humans had impressive ingenuity but were still developing their capabilities. The scouts believed that Earth's people would easily fall under the Empire's control. The Emperor was not one to waste time. He immediately called a meeting with his top advisors. The grand hall of the Empire's capital ship was filled with high-ranking officers and key officials. The room was cold and silent, the air heavy with anticipation. At the head of the long table, the Emperor's presence commanded attention. "We have our next target," the Emperor announced, his voice echoing through the hall. "Earth. It is rich in resources and strategically important. We will take it." A murmur of approval spread among the advisors. The Empire had always sought to expand its influence, and Earth's addition would solidify its power even further. The Emperor's chief military strategist, General Vexar, stepped forward. He was known for his ruthless efficiency and tactical brilliance. "Your Majesty," General Vexar said, "our scouts report that Earth's defenses are minimal. They are technologically inferior to us. We can easily subdue them and claim the resources we need." The Emperor nodded, his eyes narrowing with satisfaction. "Prepare our fleet. We will send a diplomatic envoy first to deliver our demands. If they refuse, we will show them the might of the Empire." In the days that followed, a sleek, imposing ship left the capital ship, heading toward Earth. It was not a warship, but a vessel designed for diplomacy, equipped with the latest technology to ensure that the Empire's message was delivered clearly and authoritatively. On Earth, the sudden appearance of the ship did not go unnoticed. The world's space agencies tracked its approach, and news of the mysterious vessel quickly spread. The United Nations, now the governing body for global affairs, was alerted. The Secretary-General called an emergency meeting with world leaders and defense experts. In a secure room, the leaders gathered around a large screen showing the incoming ship. The atmosphere was tense, the gravity of the situation clear. A defense expert explained the ship's likely origin and purpose. "This ship is not just any spacecraft," the expert said. "It belongs to a powerful empire with a history of conquest. They are coming to make demands. We need to be ready." The leaders debated their options. Some suggested immediate military action, while others advocated for a more diplomatic approach. The Secretary-General made the final decision. "We will respond to their envoy," the Secretary-General said. "But we must prepare for any possible aggression. Our defense systems need to be at full alert." The diplomatic envoy from the Galactic Empire arrived on Earth and landed in a secure area designated for official visits. The representatives of the Empire disembarked, clad in their formal attire. They were led to a meeting with Earth's leaders, who had prepared a grand reception to show respect, but also to assert their own position. The Empire's ambassador, a tall, imposing figure with a stern demeanor, stepped forward. "Greetings, Earth leaders," he began. "I come on behalf of the Galactic Empire. Our Emperor has decided that your planet will join our empire. We demand access to your resources and strategic position." The ambassador's tone was cold and commanding. The leaders exchanged uneasy glances. They had anticipated demands, but the Empire's assertiveness was overwhelming. Earth's representative, a seasoned diplomat named Elena Ramirez, took a deep breath. She had been briefed on the situation and understood the gravity of their response. With confidence, she addressed the ambassador. "We respect your position and your emperor," Elena said firmly. "But Earth will not submit to any demands. We are prepared to defend our sovereignty and our resources." The ambassador's eyes narrowed, and a tense silence followed. The Galactic Empire had expected Earth to comply easily, but this response was a surprise. The ambassador gave a curt nod. "Very well," he said coldly. "The Empire will consider your response. However, be warned that refusal may have consequences." With that, the envoy departed, leaving Earth's leaders to ponder their next steps. They had made their stance clear, but they knew that the Empire would not back down easily. As the envoy's ship left Earth's atmosphere, a sense of unease settled over the planet. The stage was set for a confrontation between Earth's determination and the Galactic Empire's relentless ambition. The coming days would determine if Earth could withstand the Empire's might and defend its place in the galaxy. The Empire's ultimatum. The Galactic Empire's ship hovered above Earth, its dark silhouette casting a shadow over the planet below. Inside the ship, the Empire's ambassador prepared for his next mission. His name was Ambassador Zarek, and his reputation for delivering ultimatums was well known throughout the galaxy. Today, he was tasked with convincing Earth to join the Empire, or face the consequences. The Emperor had given clear orders. Earth must submit or face the might of the Empire. Ambassador Zarek knew the importance of his mission. His arrival on Earth had been met with defiance, and now he had to make the Empire's demands unmistakably clear. He was determined to show no mercy. As Zarek's shuttle landed at the designated meeting site, Earth's leaders were already waiting. They had prepared for this moment, knowing the Empire would not accept a simple no. The meeting room was set up with Earth's top officials, including the Secretary General, defense experts, and diplomats. They were ready for a serious discussion, but the tension in the room was palpable. Ambassador Zarek entered the room, flanked by his aides. His presence was commanding, and he exuded an air of authority that made the Earth's representatives uneasy. With a cold, professional demeanor, he began to speak. "Greetings once again," Zarek said, his voice steady and unwavering. "I am here on behalf of the Galactic Empire to deliver our final ultimatum. Our Emperor demands that Earth provide access to its resources and strategic position immediately." The Earth's leaders listened intently. They knew that this was not a negotiation, but a demand. The Secretary General, Elena Ramirez, took a deep breath and stood to address Zarek. "Ambassador Zarek," Elena began, "we have already made our stance clear. Earth is not willing to surrender its resources or strategic position to any outside power. We value our sovereignty and are prepared to defend it." Zarek's expression remained unchanged, but his eyes betrayed a flicker of annoyance. He was accustomed to dealing with submissive planets, and Earth's resistance was both unexpected and frustrating. "Let me be clear," Zarek continued. "The Empire has the power to crush any opposition. Our fleet is vast and our forces are unmatched. If you continue to refuse, you will face the full force of our military might." Elena met his gaze steadily. "We understand the Empire's power, but we also understand the strength of our own resolve. We are not afraid to stand our ground." Zarek's patience was wearing thin. He had hoped that Earth's leaders would see reason and comply with the demands. Instead, they were showing defiance, which was not part of his plan. "You leave us no choice," Zarek said, his tone growing colder. "The Empire will not be denied. If you do not agree to our terms, we will prepare for an invasion. You have 48 hours to reconsider your position. After that, the consequences will be severe." With that, Zarek and his aides turned and left the meeting room. The atmosphere was heavy with the weight of the ultimatum. Earth's leaders exchanged worried glances. They had anticipated the possibility of military action, but hearing it stated so clearly made the threat feel real and immediate. After the meeting, Elena and her team gathered to discuss their next steps. The threat of invasion was serious, and they needed to act quickly. The defense experts reviewed the latest intelligence reports and assessed Earth's military readiness. They knew they had limited time to prepare for what could be a devastating conflict. The Secretary General addressed the group with determination. "We must act now. We need to strengthen our defenses and make sure our allies are ready. We cannot let fear dictate our actions. Earth must stand firm." Across the galaxy, the Galactic Empire's leaders were preparing for the possibility of conflict. The Empire's fleet was vast, with powerful warships and advanced technology. They had the ability to overwhelm Earth's defenses, but the Emperor was also aware that resistance could be costly. Back on Earth, the sense of urgency was palpable. Cities and military bases went into high alert. News of the ultimatum spread quickly, and the public was both anxious and resolute. People from all walks of life rallied to support their planet, showing unity in the face of the looming threat. As the 48-hour deadline approached, both Earth and the Galactic Empire were on edge. The Earth's leaders knew that their next actions would determine the outcome of the impending conflict. They had to balance diplomacy with readiness for war, all while maintaining the morale of their people. Ambassador Zarek returned to his ship, ready to report back to the Emperor. He knew that the next few days would be crucial. The fate of Earth hung in the balance, and the Empire's patience was wearing thin. Whether Earth would yield to the Empire's demands or face an invasion was a question that would soon be answered. The stage was set for a dramatic confrontation. Earth's leaders were determined to protect their planet, and the Galactic Empire was determined to expand its dominion. The clash between these two forces was imminent, and both sides prepared for the inevitable conflict that lay ahead. Rising tensions, the 48-hour deadline had passed, and Earth had not given in to the Galactic Empire's demands. The tension between the two sides was mounting, and the air was thick with anticipation. Both Earth and the Empire were now preparing for what seemed to be an inevitable conflict. In the Galactic Empire's command center, the atmosphere was one of controlled aggression. The Emperor's top military leaders gathered around a large holographic map, discussing their next moves. The map displayed Earth and the surrounding space, highlighting key points of interest. General Vexar, the Empire's chief strategist, was at the forefront of the discussion. His sharp eyes scanned the map as he spoke. "We have waited long enough. Earth's refusal to comply with our demands leaves us with no choice. Our forces are ready, and we have already begun assembling the fleet for the invasion." The Emperor nodded in agreement, his face set in a grim expression. "Prepare the fleet for immediate deployment. We will show Earth the consequences of defying the Empire." Back on Earth, the mood was one of urgent preparation. The Galactic Empire's threat had mobilized the planet's defenses like never before. Military bases were on high alert, and defense systems were being tested and fortified. The Earth's leaders were working around the clock, coordinating with international allies and planning their strategy. In the United Nations Secure Command Center, the Secretary General, Elena Ramirez, held a meeting with top military officials and advisors. The room was filled with maps, charts, and real-time data streams showing the Empire's movements. Elena's face was serious as she addressed her team. "We have no choice but to prepare for an all-out war," Elena said. "We must strengthen our defenses and make sure our allies are fully committed. The Empire's fleet is powerful, but we have our own strengths. Our technology and unity will be our greatest assets." The military experts nodded in agreement. Earth's defense plans included deploying advanced anti-spacecraft weapons, setting up plans for civilians. The goal was to make Earth as difficult a target as possible, hoping to buy time or deter the Empire from launching a full-scale invasion. Meanwhile, the public was becoming increasingly aware of the impending threat. News reports covered the escalating situation, and rumors of potential conflict spread quickly. People from all over the world were rallying to support their planet. Volunteers signed up to help with defense efforts, and community groups organized events to boost morale. As the days passed, the tension continued to build. The Galactic Empire's fleet moved closer to Earth, and their warships, with their sleek and menacing designs, loomed in the void of space. The Empire's scouts reported back with updated intelligence, and the command center buzzed with activity as plans for the invasion were finalized. On Earth, the situation was equally tense. The defense forces carried out drills and simulated attacks to ensure their readiness. Cities were fortified with barricades and energy shields, and military patrols were increased. Earth's leaders were determined to protect their home, but the uncertainty of what lay ahead weighed heavily on them. Elena Ramirez addressed the public in a televised speech, her voice steady and reassuring. "We are facing a serious threat from the Galactic Empire, but we will stand together and defend our planet. We have the strength and resolve to face this challenge. Our unity will be our greatest weapon." The speech had a calming effect on many people, giving them hope in the face of fear. Community gatherings and support efforts grew, showing the strength of Earth's spirit. Yet the reality of the threat remained, and everyone knew that the real test was still to come. As the Empire's fleet neared Earth, the final preparations were made. The Empire's commanders reviewed their strategies, ensuring that every detail was in place for the invasion. They planned to strike with overwhelming force, using their superior technology and firepower to crush any resistance. General Vexar took a moment to review the latest reports from his officers. The invasion was set to begin at any moment, and the Empire's forces were ready to launch their attack. The general's expression was one of cold determination. "Earth will soon learn the price of defiance," Vexar said to his officers. "Our victory is assured. We will bring the galaxy under our control, starting with this small but stubborn planet." Back on Earth, Elena and her team were preparing for the worst. They knew that the Empire's attack could come at any time, and they had to be ready to respond. The world held its breath, waiting for the inevitable clash between Earth's defenders and the Empire's conquerors. As the fleet approached Earth's atmosphere, the stage was set for a monumental confrontation. The rising tension was palpable, and both sides braced for the impact of the impending battle. Earth's defenders stood firm, ready to face the Empire's might with courage and determination. The countdown to conflict had begun, and the fate of Earth hung in the balance. The coming days would determine if the planet could withstand the Empire's onslaught or if it would fall under the Empire's control. The stakes were high, and the resolve of both sides would be tested in the trials ahead. The first battle, the time had come. The Galactic Empire's fleet was now in Earth's orbit, ready to launch the long-expected invasion. The dark shadows of the Empire's warships blotted out stars as they positioned themselves above the planet. Tension gripped both the Empire and Earth, knowing that the moment of conflict was at hand. In Earth's command center, the atmosphere was electric with anticipation. The defense forces were in position, and every available resource had been mobilized. The command center buzzed with activity as officers and technicians monitored the Empire's fleet, their faces tense but determined. The Secretary General, Elena Ramirez, stood at the heart of the command center. Her eyes scanned the screens displaying real-time data of the incoming enemy fleet. She knew that this first battle would be critical in determining the course of the conflict. "Prepare for engagement," Elena ordered. "We need to be ready to defend our planet. All units, stand by for immediate deployment." The command was quickly relayed through the network. Earth's defense forces sprang into action, deploying advanced anti-spacecraft systems and preparing their weapons. The defense satellites and ground-based lasers were activated, ready to meet the Empire's attack. The command was quickly relayed through the network. Earth's defense forces sprang into action, deploying advanced anti-spacecraft systems and preparing their weapons. The defense satellites and ground-based lasers were activated, ready to meet the Empire's attack. In space, the Galactic Empire's fleet moved into attack formation. The warships, equipped with powerful energy weapons and shields, were a formidable sight. The Empire's commander, Admiral Krogan, stood at the bridge of his flagship, overseeing the operation. "Prepare to launch the initial strike," Admiral Krogan commanded. "We will break through their defenses and secure a foothold on the planet." The first salvo of energy blasts erupted from the Empire's ships, targeting Earth's defensive structures. The blasts cut through space and struck the defense satellites and energy shields. Bright flashes of light illuminated the darkness of space as the initial attack began. On the ground, Earth's defense systems responded with fierce resistance. The anti-spacecraft lasers fired back, intercepting some of the Empire's energy blasts. Explosions erupted in space as the two sides clashed. The battle had begun, and the stakes were high. The first wave of the Empire's forces descended toward Earth's surface. They targeted key military installations and strategic points. Ground forces scrambled to intercept the invaders, engaging in fierce combat. Earth's soldiers, equipped with advanced technology and weaponry, fought with determination and courage. In the midst of the battle, a large energy cannon positioned on the ground fired a powerful shot at one of the Empire's warships. The shot hit its target, causing a massive explosion. The warship veered off course, trailing debris and smoke. Earth's defenders cheered at the successful hit, but the battle was far from over. The Galactic Empire's fleet continued its assault, unleashing wave after wave of attacks. The Empire's forces were relentless, pushing forward with the goal of overwhelming Earth's defenses. The command center tracked the progress of the battle, making quick decisions to adapt to the rapidly changing situation. Elena Ramirez watched with a mix of anxiety and resolve. The initial defense had been successful, but the Empire's sheer numbers and power were taking their toll. She knew that Earth needed to hold its ground until reinforcements arrived. "We're holding them off, but we need more support," Elena said to her team. "Activate the emergency protocols and call for additional help from our allies. We cannot let them break through." The call for reinforcements was quickly sent out. Allied forces from around the world mobilized, sending additional troops, ships, and resources to assist in the defense. The combined efforts of Earth's forces and their allies created a stronger front against the Empire's attack. As the battle raged on, both sides suffered losses. The sky was filled with the chaos of combat, and the ground shook with the impact of explosions. Despite the ferocity of the Empire's assault, Earth's defenders remained resolute, determined to protect their home. In the Galactic Empire's flagship, Admiral Krogan watched the battle unfold with frustration. The resistance from Earth was stronger than anticipated. The Admiral knew that a change in tactics was needed to achieve victory. "Recalibrate our targeting systems and prepare for a more concentrated assault," Admiral Krogan ordered. "We will break their defenses and secure our victory." With renewed determination, the Empire's fleet adjusted their strategy, focusing their firepower on key defense points. The intensity of the battle increased, and the outcome remained uncertain. Earth's defenders fought valiantly, pushing back against the Empire's relentless advance. As the first battle drew to a close, the immediate outcome was still in question. Earth had managed to repel the initial wave of attacks, but the conflict was far from over. The Galactic Empire's forces would likely regroup and launch further assaults. The battle had tested Earth's defenses and shown the resolve of its people. In the aftermath of the first battle, both sides assessed the situation. Earth's leaders and military officials were relieved but aware of the ongoing threat. The Empire's commanders were determined to press on and achieve their objectives. The fight for Earth had begun, and both sides prepared for the challenges that lay ahead. The resilience of Earth's defenders and the determination of the Galactic Empire would shape the course of the conflict. The battle for the planet was far from finished, and the coming days would reveal the true strength of both forces. Empire Strikes Back. The first battle had shown Earth's defenders were more formidable than the Galactic Empire had anticipated. Though they had suffered losses, the Empire was determined to press on. The Galactic Empire's leadership decided it was time to change their approach and unleash their full power. In the Empire's command center, Admiral Krogan and his senior officers gathered to discuss their next move. The large holographic display in the center of the room showed Earth and the surrounding space, with various tactical markers highlighting key targets. Admiral Krogan's face was stern as he reviewed the latest reports. "The initial attack did not achieve the decisive victory we expected. Earth's defenses are stronger than anticipated. We need a new strategy to break their resistance." One of the senior officers, Commander Zira, stepped forward. "We need to hit their most critical infrastructure. Target their energy production facilities and communication hubs. If we disrupt their power and coordination, we can weaken their ability to fight back." Krogan nodded. "Prepare a coordinated strike on these key targets. We will show them the full might of the Empire." Meanwhile, on Earth, the aftermath of the first battle had left the defenders exhausted but resolute. The Galactic Empire's initial assault had caused significant damage, but Earth's forces had managed to hold their ground. The command center buzzed with activity as leaders and military officials planned their next steps. Secretary General Elena Ramirez met with her top advisors and military leaders to assess the situation. "The Empire is not backing down. We must strengthen our defenses and be prepared for another attack. Our priority is to protect our critical infrastructure. The military experts worked quickly to fortify key locations. Energy production facilities were reinforced and communication lines were secured. Earth's defense systems were upgraded to handle more intense assaults. Every available resource was dedicated to ensuring the planet's readiness for the Empire's next move. As Earth's defenders worked tirelessly, the Empire's fleet prepared for their new offensive. The warships were equipped with upgraded weapons and targeting systems, and the strike force was organized into precise attack groups. The Empire was determined to break through Earth's defenses and achieve victory. The night sky over Earth was suddenly illuminated by the arrival of the Empire's second wave. The fleet moved into position, with their sights set on critical infrastructure targets. The Empire's ships launched a series of focused attacks aiming to cripple Earth's ability to defend itself. Energy production facilities around the planet came under heavy assault. Powerful energy blasts tore through the sky, targeting the structures that provided power to Earth's defenses. Explosions rocked the ground as the Empire's fleet struck with precision and intensity. Earth's defense systems responded quickly. Anti-spacecraft lasers fired back, intercepting some of the Empire's attacks. Ground-based defenses were activated, but the Empire's concentrated assault was overwhelming. The battle was fierce, and the air was filled with the sounds of explosions and energy blasts. Secretary General Elena Ramirez watched the chaos unfold from the command center. The attacks on the energy facilities were having a significant impact, causing power outages and disruptions in communication. Elena's face was set in a determined expression as she gave orders to her team. "We need to contain the damage," Elena said. "Deploy repair crews to the affected areas and activate backup power sources. We cannot let the Empire gain the upper hand." Teams of engineers and technicians were dispatched to the damaged facilities. They worked quickly to restore power and repair critical systems. Meanwhile, Earth's defenders continued to fight, using every available resource to repel the Empire's assault. The Empire's strategy was paying off. The focused attacks on infrastructure had created chaos and confusion. Earth's defenders struggled to maintain their coordination and effectiveness in the face of the relentless onslaught. In space, Admiral Krogan watched the progress of the offensive with satisfaction. The disruption of Earth's infrastructure was a significant blow to their defenses. The Admiral knew that the Empire's efforts were bringing them closer to victory. "Continue the assault," Krogan ordered. "We are making progress. Keep the pressure on their key facilities. Their resistance will crumble under the weight of our attack." As the battle continued, Earth's defenders faced mounting challenges. The damage to critical infrastructure created additional obstacles, and the intensity of the Empire's attack showed no signs of letting up. The resolve of Earth's forces was being tested to its limits. Despite the difficulties, Earth's defenders remained determined. The repair crews worked tirelessly to restore power and communication. The military forces adapted their strategies to counter the Empire's aggressive tactics. The fight for Earth was far from over, and both sides were fully committed to their cause. As the day drew to a close, the immediate impact of the Empire's offensive was clear. Earth's infrastructure had been severely damaged, but the defenders had managed to hold their ground. The Galactic Empire's attacks had caused significant disruption, but Earth's resilience had prevented a complete collapse. The conflict was far from over, and the battle for Earth continued. The Empire's strikes had demonstrated their formidable power, but Earth's defenders remained steadfast. The struggle between the two forces was set to escalate, with both sides preparing for the next phase of the conflict. The stage was set for a prolonged and intense confrontation. Earth's defenders were determined to protect their home, while the Galactic Empire was resolute in its quest for domination. The outcome of the battle remained uncertain, and the fight for Earth's future was just beginning. Earning the battle. The battle for Earth had reached a critical point. The Galactic Empire's relentless attacks had caused severe damage to Earth's infrastructure, but the defenders were not ready to give up. As the conflict raged on, both sides were preparing for a decisive shift in the tide of the battle. In the Galactic Empire's command center, Admiral Krogan reviewed the latest reports. The Empire's focused attacks had achieved significant disruption, but Earth's defenders were proving to be more resilient than expected. The Admiral's face showed a mix of frustration and determination. "Earth's defenses are holding stronger than anticipated," Krogan said to his officers. "We need to press harder if we want to break their resolve. Increase the intensity of our attacks and ensure our forces maintain the pressure." Meanwhile, on Earth, the situation was dire, but not without hope. The damage from the Empire's previous assault had been severe, but the defenders had managed to stabilize critical systems. Secretary General Elena Ramirez and her team were working tirelessly to turn the tide of the battle. Elena gathered her top military advisors in the command center. The room was filled with data screens and tactical maps showing the current state of the conflict. The atmosphere was tense but determined. "We've suffered significant losses," Elena said, "but our defenders have shown incredible courage. We need to adapt our strategy and leverage our strengths. Let's focus on using our most advanced technology and regrouping our forces." One of the military leaders, General Marcus, spoke up. "We have developed a new type of energy shield that can withstand the Empire's attacks better than our previous models. If we can deploy these shields at key points, we might be able to turn the battle in our favor." Elena nodded. "Let's put that plan into action. Deploy the new energy shields and coordinate with our allies for a counteroffensive. It's time to show the Empire that Earth will not fall easily." As the new shields were deployed, Earth's defenders took advantage of the improved technology. The advanced energy shields created a more resilient defense against the Empire's powerful attacks. The increased protection gave Earth's forces a renewed sense of confidence and strength. In space, the Empire's fleet launched another wave of attacks, targeting the newly fortified positions. The improved shields held up better against the energy blasts, and Earth's defenders were able to mount a more effective counterattack. The new defense systems allowed Earth's forces to hold their ground and push back against the Empire's advances. Admiral Krogan watched the battle unfold from the bridge of his flagship. The improved shields were causing more resistance than anticipated. The Admiral's frustration grew as he realized that Earth's defenders were adapting to the Empire's tactics. "Recalibrate our weapons and adjust our targeting systems," Krogan ordered. "We need to overcome their new defenses. Focus on the weak points in their shield system and apply more pressure." The Empire's fleet adjusted their tactics, concentrating their fire on areas where the new shields were less effective. The battle continued with intense exchanges of energy blasts and defensive maneuvers. Despite the Empire's efforts, Earth's defenders were holding their ground and even starting to push back. On Earth, the increased confidence among the defenders was evident. The new strategy and improved technology were making a difference. Troops and resources were effectively coordinated, and Earth's forces began to launch their own counterattacks. The tide of the battle was slowly shifting. General Marcus coordinated with Allied forces, launching a series of strategic offensives against the Empire's fleet. Ground forces and aerial units worked together to target key enemy ships and supply lines. The coordinated effort began to have a noticeable impact on the Empire's operations. In the Galactic Empire's command center, Krogan's frustration was mounting. The counteroffensive by Earth's defenders was beginning to turn the tide of the battle. The Admiral knew that the situation was becoming increasingly difficult and that a new approach was needed. "We need to reassess our strategy," Krogan said. "If we cannot break through their defenses, we risk losing our advantage. Prepare for a strategic retreat and regroup our forces. We must plan our next move carefully." As the Empire's fleet began to retreat and regroup, Earth's defenders took advantage of the opportunity. The pressure on Earth's defenses eased, and the defenders pushed forward, targeting the weakened areas of the Empire's forces. The battle had reached a turning point. Earth's defenders, bolstered by their new technology and improved strategies, were making significant gains. The Galactic Empire's forces were forced to adapt to the changing dynamics of the conflict. Secretary General Elena Ramirez addressed her team with renewed hope. "We've managed to turn the battle in our favor, but we must remain vigilant. The Empire will not give up easily. We need to continue our efforts and be prepared for their next move." The battle for Earth was far from over, but the shift in momentum was a crucial victory for the defenders. The Galactic Empire had been pushed back, and Earth's forces were now in a stronger position. The struggle for the planet would continue, but the turning of the battle provided a glimmer of hope for Earth's future. As the two sides prepared for the next phase of the conflict, the outcome remained uncertain. Earth's defenders had proven their resilience and strength, but the Empire was a formidable adversary. The fight for Earth was set to continue, and the determination of both sides would determine the ultimate fate of the planet. Peace talks. The battle for Earth had reached a crucial moment. After weeks of fierce fighting, both sides were exhausted. The Galactic Empire's attacks had been met with determined resistance from Earth's defenders, and the conflict had taken a heavy toll on both sides. With the tide of battle shifting, leaders from both Earth and the Empire saw a new opportunity, the chance for peace. In Earth's command center, Secretary General Elena Ramirez and her top advisors were deep in discussion. The recent victories had provided a glimmer of hope, but they knew that a prolonged conflict would only lead to more suffering. Elena was determined to find a resolution. "We've proven our strength and resilience," Elena said to her team. "But continuing this war will only lead to more loss and destruction. It's time to explore the possibility of peace talks with the Empire." General Marcus, one of Elena's key military advisors, nodded in agreement. "The Empire is also facing pressure. Their forces have been pushed back, and their resources are stretched thin. This might be the right moment to negotiate a ceasefire." The decision was made to open communication channels with the Galactic Empire. Representatives from Earth reached out to the Empire, proposing a formal meeting to discuss a possible end to the conflict. The message was received and considered by the Empire's leadership. In the Galactic Empire's command center, Admiral Krogan and his senior officers reviewed the proposal. The recent setbacks and the mounting costs of the war had made peace talks a more appealing option. The Admiral was cautious, but willing to consider the possibility. "Earth has shown they can defend themselves effectively," Krogan said. "We've also suffered significant losses. A ceasefire might be in our best interest. Let's proceed with the negotiations." A neutral space station located between Earth and the Empire's territories was chosen as the location for the peace talks. Representatives from both sides gathered to discuss the terms of a potential agreement. The atmosphere was tense but hopeful, with both parties eager to find a resolution. Elena Ramirez led Earth's delegation, while Admiral Krogan headed the Empire's team. The peace talks began with an exchange of formal greetings and statements. Both leaders were aware of the importance of the discussions and the potential impact on their respective worlds. "We come to these talks with the hope of finding a peaceful resolution," Elena began. "The recent battles have shown that neither." Admiral Krogan nodded. "The Galactic Empire acknowledges the strength and determination of Earth's defenders. We have faced challenges that we did not anticipate. We are willing to explore terms that could lead to a peaceful resolution." The discussions began with a focus on immediate concerns, such as a ceasefire and humanitarian aid for affected areas. Both sides presented their positions and concerns, working to find common ground. The negotiations were complex and required careful consideration of each side's needs and demands. As the talks progressed, several key issues were addressed. Earth sought assurances that the Empire would cease all hostilities and provide aid to repair the damage caused by the conflict. The Empire, in turn, requested guarantees for their safety and the protection of their interests. The discussions were not without challenges. There were moments of disagreement and tension as both sides navigated their differences. However, the commitment to finding a peaceful solution kept the negotiations moving forward. After several days of intense discussions, a breakthrough was reached. Both sides agreed to a ceasefire and a framework for further negotiations. The terms included a mutual withdrawal of forces, the establishment of humanitarian aid programs, and a commitment to ongoing dialogue to address any remaining issues. The announcement of the ceasefire was met with relief and cautious optimism. The news was welcomed by people on both sides of the conflict, who had longed for an end to the fighting. Earth's citizens and the Empire's inhabitants celebrated the prospect of peace and a return to normalcy. In the aftermath of the peace talks, Secretary General Elena Ramirez and Admiral Krogan made public statements about the agreement. They both emphasized the importance of continued cooperation and dialogue to ensure a lasting peace. "Today marks a new beginning for our two worlds," Elena said. "We have taken the first step towards healing and rebuilding. Let us work together to create a future where our peoples can live in harmony. Admiral Krogan echoed her sentiments. The agreement represents a commitment to peace and mutual respect. We must continue to uphold these values and address any challenges that arise. The peace talks were a significant turning point in the conflict. While there were still many details to work out and challenges to overcome, the agreement provided hope for a better future. Both Earth and the Galactic Empire had shown their willingness to seek a peaceful resolution, and the path to reconciliation had been paved. As the days passed, efforts to implement the terms of the agreement began. The focus shifted to rebuilding and recovery, with both sides working to repair the damage caused by the conflict. The process of healing and rebuilding would take time, but the commitment to peace provided a foundation for progress. The end of the conflict marked a new chapter for Earth and the Galactic Empire. The lessons learned from the battle and the peace talks would shape the future relationship between the two worlds. The path to lasting peace would require continued effort and cooperation, but the potential for a positive outcome was now within reach.